views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, welcome to my show, Patty's Page. My name is Patty Hunter. Today's special guest we have is Marti Wright, former anchor, woman, reporter, radio personality. So, I have questions for you, Marti.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
Welcome to my show.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. You look lovely.
Thank you. I'm trying.
That's my favorite color.
Is that your favorite color? It's a nice fall color.
Yeah, well, this is in here somewhere.
Well, that's true. That
so
would work.
we kind of match
That
up,
would
don't
work.
we? So, Marti, where were you born and raised?
Born in San Francisco, California, raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, so you're a young lady when you moved here.
Probably about 8 years old. My father was in the Army, in the Presidio, San Francisco. My mother was also a government worker. And we moved from San Francisco, I probably was about 5, to El Paso, Texas, where my father retired from active military, to Chicago, Illinois, for a little bit.
Right.
Until both my father first and then my mother received assignments in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I believe I was about 8 when we moved here.
Oh. So when you were growing up, who influenced you the most, your parents or other people?
My parents, definitely my parents and my family. We were a tight-knit group. The rest of us that are still here are still a tight-knit group.
Yes.
And, you know, I had a good family, like most other people, and I looked up to my parents. My brother, absolutely. So yeah, it was my parents and my family. Obviously, you know, we all have our favorite teachers. I went to Bethlehem Lutheran School at 3705 South Anthony in Fort Wayne.
Oh, here?
And yes, absolutely. And my favorite teacher was my 5th grade teacher, George Knutson, and we remain close to this day. I attended Concordia Lutheran High School, and I had many, many favorite teachers there. It was all a great experience.
They have a lot of very wonderful teachers.
Yes.
Including the principal. He's A-OK, my books. So, schoolings you had, what were your majors?
Political science, actually. I had a political science major with a minor in English. And I had thought at one time that I was going to go to law school. Frankly, I got tired of school.
Oops.
And
there's a lot of years to go to be a lawyer, isn't it?
It can be 3 to 4. And I just was, you know, done with school at that time. Not to say that I wouldn't have gone back. I never did. But it's always been in my head.
Well, you got your head straight on there. How old were you when you wanted to be in the media? Many moons ago.
I don't know. I guess it depends on who you talk to. My mother worked with a gentleman who said that I had told him when I was 9 years old that I was going to be in television. I certainly don't remember that, but having said that, I did watch the news at a young age, and I believe the only role model out there, and I know the only role model out there at that time would have been Barbara Walters, and maybe I did, you know, and that would make sense.
So you wanted to be like her?
Probably. Well, I guess the constant factor was that I always loved to read and write. So maybe I equated that love of reading and writing with what I saw on television. Maybe that was it.
So that sounds like You wanted to be a writer. How did it turn out?
I was a writer
And what else?
and a news reporter.
News reporter.
Mhm.
Hey. What was your first job after graduating?
Well, I worked at a bank for 6 months, and I worked at an insurance agency for 6 months, and then I found an opening at WMEE Radio. It was not in the newsroom, it was in sales. And I felt, well, you know, my parents had always told me to go after what you want. You have to get your education, and you have to act respectful and humble, but go after what you want. And I saw that sales position opening as an opening at least to get in the door. And so I applied, and they set up an interview. I took another resume with me, and Walt Steffen interviewed me. He was the general sales manager at the time. This would have been in 1980?
I don't know.
Something like that. And
Sounds good enough.
so we had the interview, and he said, you know, great to meet you, Marty. Do you have any other questions? And so I handed him another resume, and I told him that I was really interested in working in the newsroom, and would he pass along my resume to the newsroom. I think maybe for a few seconds it caught me off guard. I certainly did not mean to waste anybody's time.
Right.
And if he hadn't passed along, you know,
You wouldn't have gone.
yeah, and if he had wanted me in sales, then that would have happened too. But he did pass it along, and a wonderful person who everybody knows in this city, in this area, Lee Kelso.
Oh.
Lee Kelso hired me and gave me my break.
So what did you do? What were your roles?
I was a news reporter. That was it.
Did you have to go out?
Absolutely. You know, we were talking about that last night. We were talking about the early 80s, that when there were news conferences, at least back then, it wasn't just the television reporters that were out. The newspaper reporters out, the radio reporters are out. I can remember having a recorder over my shoulder, you know, strap, and putting a microphone out there just like everyone else. And and we all became to know each other because of that. The television, radio, and print media all, you know, became colleagues
Just like
and knew each other.
networking with all the people in the media.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was great.
What this radio that you were with?
WME, I apologize, I really need to mention that. WMEE, WQHK. Those are the radio stations. I'm assuming they're still together, but they were owned by the same company at the time.
Did they play music or was it a talk show?
It was music. WMEE still exists, right? Top 40 or something?
Oh my goodness, yes.
And WQHK Country?
Yes, you betcha.
That's where I worked
Oh my stars.
40 years ago.
Wow.
As a news reporter.
So you became reporter first in the radio, TV, or both?
No, radio.
Radio. So what year did you become an anchor, and for what TV station?
Well, let's go back, because you don't
Okay.
become an anchor until you're a reporter.
Aha.
Yes, yeah. You don't do that. You don't jump. That is not to say that if you become an anchor, you know, you would probably go to your next step if you left that station to go to a higher market. You would probably apply for an anchor position, and you might get a reporter anchor position. But at least back in the day,
Yeah.
I was. So let's start from when I received the job at Channel 21, which would have been September of 1981. And I was a reporter initially, and this is going to get a little fuzzy, but I started as a evening, nights and weekends. That's where everybody started, at least back in the day.
Oh.
And to be very clear about that, it might sound like, you know, that's the entry level position, and it is. But understand that working nights, especially nights, is very.
Is that the
It's a
graveyard
big
shift?
no. That's prime time.
Oh, prime time.
Yeah, that's prime time, and so that's where everyone starts. But it's not it's a very responsible position. So you're going out and reporting, and the news director is gone by 6 or 7. You've got your producers there, but you're basically on your own. You've got to think on your feet.
Oh.
And I did that, and where I'm fuzzy is I was a reporter. Somewhere along the way on the weekends I became a co-anchor with Dean Pantazzi. I don't remember, but I can tell you I worked nights and weekends for 14 years.
Oh,
that I can tell you.
So, how long did you work as an anchor woman?
Thank you. So I received the anchor, so it was nights and weekends for 14 years. Somewhere along the way I became a co-anchor on the weekends with Dean Pantazzi, but I received another promotion in August of 1987, and I remember that specifically. I became the primetime co-anchor in August of 1987, and I remember it because I said that was my 30th birthday present.
Cool.
It was.
So, what are your favorite stories that you had covered?
That's, we're going back 20 years to talk about another 20 years. But I'll just rattle them off. What I started as general assignment, but I covered city council. Let's see, spot news, the shootings, the fires, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The sad stuff. I worked on the desegregation of Fort Wayne Community Schools with Dr. Bill Anthus. We became very close in the way that, the important thing then, and I hope so now, is that you have to be reliable, you have to be responsible, and you have to keep your mouth shut with your...
opinion?
Well, we won't even get that. There was no opinion, so we can stop that right now.
Okay.
But with your confidential sources, if someone told you something quote unquote off the record, you listened, you kept that up here, and when the time came that it was available to report, then that's what you did, but you kept confidences. And
like
just
a
like
doctor keeping confidence.
Absolutely. And as one gentleman, Fort Wayne, retired Fort Wayne police officer said to me, he said, Marty, you always had the sources. He said, you just knew when or when not to use them. And so in this business, I hope it's still like this.
I hope so too.
Trustworthiness is key. That's it. That'll make or break your career.
Now, when Reagan?
President Reagan?
Yeah. Did he come here?
He sure did.
What's up?
That was with the, and I really should have checked the dates, but that would have been early to mid 1980s. We had the blizzard of 80 something, you can look it up. And then we had the flood in the next spring, and that's when President Reagan came here because we were flooded. And those were the whole city. And those were the days in news where, you went to work at 5 o'clock in the morning and you didn't know when you were coming home. You in any particular news story, you get it done and your job's not done until it is. And I would like to say it another way. The news business is not anything where anything lays on your desk till the next day, right?
You gotta cover it.
Yep, and it's got to go on the air that night.
I know. It means all night. For 3 days, no sleep.
It happened.
Yeah. So, you are in former Congressman Mark Souder's latest book. Well, and now on my TV show.
Yes. Thank you.
What was the book called?
The book is called Television in Fort Wayne.
Sorry.
Television in Fort Wayne, 1953 to 2018.
Right on. So, how did you feel when Mark asked you to be in his book?
Shocked.
Oh.
Surreal. I think anybody would say this who is a trailblazer, if I can.
That's what
I
you
guess
are.
I'll call myself that because that's what other people are calling me.
Pioneer, really.
Those are your
Those are
words.
my
Those are
words.
your words, and thank you. Thank you. But I would say with any person, man or woman, who finds themselves 30 or 40 years later a first, you don't know what you're doing when you're doing it.
No,
I mean, I knew.
Yeah, you
I knew, but it was a job.
Yeah.
And so very honored when Mark got in touch with me, Congressman Souder got in touch with me. I was very honored, and honored also because I had interviewed and covered Congressman Souder when he was a congressman. I knew him. Sure,
Oh,
interviewed him
nice.
all the time. And always learned something from him, by the way.
He's very intelligent.
Very intelligent, and I always learned something, the majority of time, off topic about what we were actually, off topic of what I was actually interviewing him about.
Yeah.
A wonderful man, a strong man, a strong writer, a strong historian.
Yes.
So I was totally honored, and if I need to say this, I had no hesitation and trusted him completely.
Melissa Long, as well as Heather Herron, also helped to write the book that we are talking about. Did you meet them, or did you get a chance to? Or
I used to work with Melissa.
oh, Melissa's a beautiful person, and her husband, the former
State Senator.
state senator,
Yes.
David. Yeah. Anyways, you and Mark were interviewed on Theaters for Ideas, and of course Patty's page
Yes.
recently. Now you talked about your career. We're happy and honored to have met you.
I'm happy and honored to have met you.
Gosh. Wow.
True.
You're retired now, aren't you, kid?
Yes, I've been retired, yes.
So what mischief are you getting yourself into? Anything new, old, in between? That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I just, I've had a lot with family going on the last few years, and
Yeah.
everything's good, but family has taken up my time. And so, we'll see. You know, being here, I've been back north. I live in Alabama, we can say that. And I've been back north since August the 11th. I'll be going back to Alabama end of October.
Oh,
And then we'll see. I have some things to do there, and honestly, I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm just
you don't have to be evasive.
Yep.
You just can.
yeah. I just I've got a lot of family things to take care of, and I guess just looking forward to being with family.
Yes.
My great nieces.
Oh, wow.
I have a great nephew, and really, as everybody would say, after COVID, which COVID isn't over, but as we continue with that, it's just, it's a waiting game, doing the best I can.
Did you have COVID yourself? No. I did.
Mhm.
Interesting. So, finally, what encouraging thoughts would you like to share with my audience?
Oh, wow, encouraging thoughts.
We don't want to get into TV or radio.
Sure. Well, I think honestly, and again,
Anything.
it truly comes down to whatever profession you want to get into.
Right.
You need to get the education, whether that's a college level or whether it's a trade level. Either one is good. Either one is fantastic. There's always something to be said about creating your own niche and creating your own space.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the bottom line to all of it is you've got to have the work ethic. Don't think it's going to be handed to you. If it is handed to you in some form or fashion, that's great, but don't rest on your laurels. Keep it moving. Keep learning. Keep learning. Keep
Never
learning.
stop
Yes.
learning.
Yes. Keep learning. Be open to ideas and criticism.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism, there's
Okay,
nothing
that's
wrong
more
with
better.
that. There's nothing wrong with that. And be open to that. Just be open to ideas, to other people around you. And I would say this too, and I've really been saying this as I've been getting older. Should have listened to that inner voice years and years and years ago, but I would tell anyone, listen to yourself. Listen to that inner voice. Many times that inner voice, some would call the Holy Spirit. I call it that, sure.
Sure, you got a hole. It's something in your heart. You have a hole in your heart for the Lord Himself.
Mm-hmm.
Only He can fill that.
Right. And so listen to that. Many times, I didn't go with my gut. You know, pick a topic, pick a subject, pick a idea. And I should have, you know. So now I really listen to that voice more. No matter what you want to do in life, listen to your voice.
That's right. I was just wondering, would you ever be interviewing anyone else in the future, or just retire and just relax?
You know, I said to someone the other day, I'll just ride this last wave with this book.
You bet.
But I would even say even more than that, I wish I had added this. It's a young person's game. It's a young person's game.
I know that.
You know. And so you never look over or put aside any opportunities that are put in your path. But I'm just very happy that people remember me.
That's good.
And I'm just happy that I've seen reporters along the way, younger reporters who didn't see me on television, but have heard about me, and that they hold me in high regard, and that if there's anything I can do for them, you know, it's a different game now, especially with technology and social media, but really the journalistic game hasn't changed. It has not changed, ultimately in its purest form. So if there's anything I can help anybody with, I will. But at this point, I just think it's really nice that everybody has remembered me.
That's nice.
And this book
And the
becomes
book.
and the book becomes a legacy for my family.
And you're going around touring, are you?
Well, we had a book signing yesterday. I'll say September the 23rd in Auburn at Carbod Jewelers, and the connection there was Mike Littlejohn and his wife Deb, who own Carbod Jewelers.
Right.
Don Chevrolet is Mike's father-in-law.
Holy man.
Mike is married to Deb Chevrolet Littlejohn.
Holy scary.
And so also the other connection there is that when Mike and Deb were newlyweds, we were neighbors. So I've known this family for nearly 40 years.
This is a close family
Yes,
out there, girl.
yes,
I
absolutely.
was wondering if you can sign this book. I have Mark Souder's, I have Melissa Long and Heather Heron's.
Do I need to take the book with me so that Don Chevrolet can sign it?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, let me find this. Where did they sign? oh, it's heavy.
It's a big book. It's a big book. It's a beautiful historical read. It's
So
beautiful.
we'll be needing, by magic. By magic, we got it.
Okay. Sure, right over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Put your Jane Doe there.
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Patty. And Patty's page.
Yeah, Bob and Patty, of course. My husband, too. He's the one that's on the camera, by the way.
Yes. We'll keep that open and let it dry so it doesn't smear. But I'm honored that you asked me, and I will take the book with me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will take it to Carbod Jewelers, because Don Chevrolet shows up there about once a week.
Oh.
His, as I said, his son-in-law takes care of all of this at the book signing yesterday. The book signing was about 4 hours. It was steady.
Wow.
You know, certainly we spent time talking with people.
Oh, good.
But it was steady, and Mike will take care of it. I'll take care of it for you before I leave town, I promise.
Okay, I'll dry it out here.
Exactly. That's what I was doing all day. Make sure it should be fine now, Liddy.
Okay,
Okay.
so, heavy.
It's heavy, but it's also one of a kind. It will never be duplicated.
That's
so
right.
this is a very good book for people to have.
So, this is going on towards, now you had it upside down, didn't you? Oh. This is towards the end of the show.
Okay.
On Patty's page. And I would like to thank you, Marty, for being my guest. We love you, girl.
I love you too. Thank you.
I'm so honored to have met you, and still, we keep in touch.
We will. We will. Your number's in my phone.
Come back to Fort Wayne.
And I'm honored as well, Patty. Thank you. With everything that has been going on, public access, radio, print, television,
Oh my goodness.
it's been pretty overwhelming. It's been very overwhelming.
So
but I
now-
thank everyone.
You can go back whenever and relax.
You bet.
You're a whirlwind here in Fort Wayne. So this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Thank you. We'll see you next week, and thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you too. Thank you. Thank you.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always for the rest of our lives.